Hi, I'm Jared Stepp, and welcome to the development of technology through sitcom history. Sitcoms affect us in a way vastly different from other TV shows. In a way, they're more of a reality than reality TV. The characters on these shows are made to be relatable, and we get lost in the worlds that they create. The characters are often going through some of the same events that we do. With this said, technology also grows at the same time, but the rate of the development of technology is insane. Let me stop you right there. To understand how we got to our beloved Office, Seinfeld, and Modern Family, we have to analyze the early trailblazers of The Cosby Show and I Love Lucy. My project is to track the changes of technology over time through sitcom history. I was able to do my research thanks to the Peabody Awards found in the UGA Special Collections Library. Using the sitcoms as standards for every other sitcom, I'm able to track the changes of technology as they took place in the likes of 30 Rock, Roseanne, Scrubs, Frasier, The Cosby Show, Modern Family, The Middle, Ugly Betty, and more. I'll be comparing and contrasting several techniques used in filming our beloved sitcoms. Sometimes the techniques are quickly outdated and are only revisited for the sake of being retro. Other times the techniques are expanded upon and they flourish. So let's start with camera work. Directors make a very conscious decision when they choose between single and multi-camera setups. There are benefits to both, but it all depends on what style the sitcom is trying to portray. Multi-camera means using several cameras to capture action all at once. Much more equipment was required, as well as personnel to arm them. This worked best for quick and consistent jump cuts, and was used primarily when it was filmed in front of a live studio audience. This also helped in the editing room, as well as preventing actors from doing several takes, especially with the live audience watching in charge of reacting to the scene. One camera was simply not enough for live studio audiences. So watch this famous clip from I Love Lucy, one of the first shows to pioneer the use of multi-camera, and pay close attention to the cuts between the cameras. One is aimed directly at a close-up on Lucy, another on Ethel, and the last on an establishing shot of both the characters in the conveyor belt. Notice how the cameras are able to switch back and forth and zoom and focus depending on the shot while another camera is being shown. The different shots are used for different areas of emphasis. So, let's take a look. In 1970, actor-producer Gary Marshall added the fourth camera, which was used in his series Mork and Mindy to capture Robin Williams' frequent off-script outbursts and improvisations.
Mindy, you can do it! Fly! It's all right! I know you can! Newton was wrong! Get it right! Tinkerbell died first! Go for it, girl! Go for it! What are you doing? I was just trying to help you lift off. What you have to really do is shave your head to reduce the friction. Come on! Let's try again! There we go!
Here's some more shows that use the multi-camera format. Mary Kay and Johnny, The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, All in the Family, Three's Company, Cheers, The Cosby Show, Seinfeld, Friends, and Everybody Loves Raymond. These shows are all filmed live, and many of the features that we're used to now weren't available then. Actors had to create pauses for laughter, and often had to suffer from the guy who laughs a little too long or a little too loud. To solve the problems, Charlie Douglas created the laugh box. The war veteran was tired of hearing the many of the too long laughs or the lack of laugh at all. He recorded some of what he thought was the best available laughs and put them into a machine that he could cue. The machine was a typewriter-like instrument that he designed that would play tapes based on the selection made or the keys pressed. The tapes had specific lengths and selections of variations of gender. He could also control the duration using his custom foot pedal. His machine that he called the Laugh Box held tapes that could be recorded every few months to keep each laugh, scream, chuckle, and snort fresh. The laugh track is said to have two key functions: to offer individual viewers a sense that we are all watching and laughing at the same program together as a collective audience, as well as create an atmosphere that makes viewers feel safe enough to laugh at the on-screen character's misfortune. This innovation revolutionized the industry and allowed some of the first audio editing possibilities, as well as opening up doors to a single camera technique without filming in front of a live studio audience. For a film-like quality as used in most primetime dramas, music videos, and commercials, the single camera format is used. With one camera, each shot had to be filmed individually. The style is more jarring and active. It made its way back in the 2000s prominently in the documentary style. Events pan over as they happen, and in the society where we all have the YouTube attention span of 4 minutes, quick camera cuts are the way to go. Slate magazine says, freed of the stodgy cadence of setup, punchline, laugh, the new shows can be slyer, subtler, and more subversive. This is used in the mockumentary style made famous by The Office and Modern Family. The single camera creates a very personal atmosphere, as if we're watching the events happen before our own eyes. Because of the mockumentary style, actors can make direct eye contact with the camera and break the fourth wall to make the audience feel more involved. Many of the early American sitcoms from the 1950s to the 1970s were shot using the single camera method, including The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, Leave It to Beaver, The Andy Griffith Show, The Addams Family, The Munsters, Get Smart, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, Gilligan's Island, Hogan's Heroes, and The Brady Bunch. These did not have a live studio audience, and by being shot single camera, tightly edited sequences could be created, along with multiple locations and visual effects such as magical appearances and disappearances. The resurgence of this technique is seen in many of the most recent popular TV shows like Spaced, Malcolm in the Middle, Ugly Betty, The Middle, Parks and Recreation, Weeds, The Office, Modern Family, Cougar Town, and Community. So let's watch this clip from The Office that exemplifies quick camera cuts, addressing the audience, and panning as the events happen.
Stop it.
Stop what?
You're talking about me in Morse code. You know what? Joke's on you, because I know Morse code. Ha!
Yeah, that's what we're doing. In our very limited free time and with our very limited budget, we went and got a nanny, and then we went out and took a class on a very outmoded and very unnecessary form of communication just so we could talk about you in front of you. Yep, that's exactly what we did.
Scrubs spoofed the idea of a sitcom in their episode My Life in 4 Cameras. Watch as they transition from a single camera comedy with no laugh track to a multi-shot camera in front of a live studio audience.
And you can see how different the clip before is from the clip afterward. Notice the transition between the pre-recorded and the live. The seconds before they have no laugh track, and all the jokes are presented in a deadpan setting. The feeling is very personal, like the events are happening right before you. Also, each shot has to be filmed from different angles. But voiceovers, sound effects, and music are all now easy to control with the invention of the laugh track and with the single shot technique.
There are moments when we all wish life was more like a sitcom.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry too, sir.
Well, the good news is I won't have to eat my wife's cooking anymore, right?
JD's Sitcom Fantasy will be back after these messages.
JD's Sitcom Fantasy is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
The single shot style allows the characters to do voiceovers, as well as add sound effects and music, but each shot has to be done with different angles with one camera. In the late 1990s, many of the sitcoms being produced switched over to being produced digitally, making editing, copying, and fixing easier, as well as opening a whole new world of possibilities. Long gone are the days of hot splicing and work prints. A work print was a second-generation print from the original camera negatives. The director and editor would work through the prints until they reached a decision for the final cut, then making cuts to the negatives. Hot splicing was taking the reels of film and cutting out what you wanted to edit, then joining the two frames with an adhesive that was dried with heat. Some shows feature digital effects that can only be done with computers, like, for example, Community. The green screen effects and heavy implementation of explosion and gunshot effects could be easily used in future sitcoms, replacing the cheap and very noticeable fake effects from the likes of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The effects in video could be far more operable, and mistakes could be cleaned up much more smoothly. With this change, we graduated from standard definition to high definition, HD. Much of the new technology in HD is catching on quickly. However, the implementation of 3D seems to still lag behind. Much like the digital video recorders, or DVRs, 3D won't be widespread until more affordable options are available for consumer purchase.